Yo, what is going on, guys? Hope it's having a fantastic day today. So I want to go over some news for the Philadelphia Eagles. A couple things. A player that has requested a trade, a mock trade, which is pretty interesting. We actually talked about it last night, and a couple other things as well. So let's get straight into all of the news. Howie Roseman is on the phones. He's wheeling and dealing and trying to get something started here, and we're going to find out about it. So let's get straight into it. Yo, what is going on, guys? Your boy Joey Shakedown coming, guys, with a video right now. So I want to go over some news for the Philadelphia Eagles. First, a player that has requested a trade. Now, it was been all over the internet the past couple days, and this is really the Budda Baker situation right now. And it's almost impossible, guys. Budda Baker's obviously a really good safety. I mean, one of my favorites in the league. And is requesting a trade. Why is he requesting a trade? He's got 2 more years left on his contract, and probably because, you know what? At this point, you know, you have a new head coach. You have a new head coach in Jonathan Gannon. You know, you have a quarterback that's coming off an ACL, and obviously a lot of issues with that quarterback and his mentality and his attitude. And, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on with that team. And there are going to be some players that feel like, I want to get out of here as fast as possible before shit hits the fan and I'm pretty much out of and I'm going to be wasting my years on an organization right now. You look at the numbers right now, even for Budda Baker, it's almost impossible. Like, if he had one more year left, maybe with a $10 million cap hit, I'd be okay with it because you can extend that pretty easily. But he's got 2 guaranteed years. I mean, his cap number this year is $16.5 million, which is a lot. It's a lot of money there. The Eagles don't have one player on their roster. Check it out on overthecap.com. The Eagles have not one player over $16 million. There's not one player over $15 million in cap against the cap this year. It's kind of insane when you think about it, right? When you see all these big numbers, like, oh my God, you know, just check. It's kind of nuts. So if they cut him, they get $9.5 million, $7.5 in dead money. If they trade him post June, they'll get $14 million in cap space. I think only, like, you know, whatever it is. I think 7 or like $3 million, something like that. So they get a lot more cap if they trade him post-June regardless. So I don't think this move will happen like right now. It'll probably happen after June most likely. You know, but you want to see, hey, maybe they get some good, you know, draft compensation for him, which the Eagles really can't afford right now, especially for a really good player. Not a guy coming off injury, not a guy that's like a high ceiling, low risk, high reward. This is a guy that's actually good. So it's going to cost you a little bit more. You know, the Eagles already hit on this position at safety twice with Justin Evans. That's a nice little veteran depth piece that's going to fight it out in camp that can play safety and nickel. And Justin Evans has been hurt every single year. He's a second-round pick in the Tampa Bay Bucks for 2017 and just been injured every single year. So could give Kevon Wallace some good competition. So his contract is looming down a little bit more as the years go on. Terrell Edmonds, after not signing Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I think Terrell Edmonds is probably one of the most underrated signings we have here because, I mean, he was going to sign a multi-year extension with the Steelers, and the Eagles literally called, and he backed out of it and signed with the Eagles. They just got out of the Super Bowl. You know, he wants to be a part of this whole entire thing. He obviously said having 2 really good outside corners is really going to make the safety job a lot easier, and obviously this depends on Sean Desai, our new defensive coordinator, and see where he puts these guys in the right position to win football games. But at the end of the day, you know, 5 picks in 5 years with the Steelers, but I think he can actually get a lot of I think he could do a lot better because I think the secondary is good enough and we'll get enough pressure on quarterbacks this year where he will make enough plays. Run support, great. I think has pretty good coverage. Like I just think having those 2 outside corners in front of him are really going to help him, are going to make him look really good. I think so. And then Reed Blankenship actually going to his first offseason going into this offseason program as a starter as of right now. Obviously, if they draft somebody else, more competition comes into the room. But, you know, Reed Blankenship, not the best coverage guy. I'm not looking at him for that. I'm looking at him to, you know, really be a downhill type guy, you know, get in front of those, get in front of, you know, wide receivers and tight ends and go strip that ball, go grab that ball, go deflect. That's what I'm kind of looking at him, to be that hard thumper at safety. And I love the way Reed Blankenship plays. So So a full off season with a more feeling a lot better about himself going into the season in 23, I think is going to be really good for him. So we'll see how the whole situation pans out. But like I said, the Eagles already hit on this position twice. Way too much money for Budda Baker. Budda Baker is making $13 million this year, $14 million next year, and those cap numbers are $16.5 and $18 million this year and next year, which is a lot of money. Like I said, if there was like one more year left and it was like 10, 11 million, they could definitely swing it because they can extend that money for the next 3-4 years if that's what they want to do and mess with the cap a little bit. But with those 2 years at big cap numbers, cap hits, it's a little tough to get it done. So that's my take on Budda Baker. I wish him well wherever he goes, and it's going to be a lucky player to go wherever he goes. So it's going to be pretty cool. Secondly, I want to go over Jalen Carter. So it looks like the news has come out that Jalen Carter will be at the draft. He won't be sitting home. He will be there, which pretty much means he knows he's getting drafted top 10, which we know that he has had a promise from a team that will draft him. Now, the Eagles and the Bears were like the first two teams that he visited, and then the Seahawks jumped in. The Raiders are probably going to jump in next. Who knows? The Cardinals might jump in next. Okay, so, there's a lot of interest there. He's not visiting teams out of the top 10. His agent is literally promising him you will be drafted top 10. So now that Jalen Carter is actually going to be at the draft, it's almost showing to the fact that, it's almost promising that he will get drafted here. And I mean, or at least drafted in the top 10 at least. The Eagles will definitely have to move up. They can't stay at 10. You're going to have to move between 6 and 7 to get him. I honestly think that. Like, if he gets past 6, 7, I'll be shocked. Still got to jump in front of the Bears if that happens. So if they really want him, they're going to have to make a move. So I know it's not crazy news, but, it's something like if he's going to be at the draft, that means that there is a promise on the table that he's not getting past a certain team in the top 10, which I think is definitely true at this point. Now, we talk about trades, mock trades. I saw one today. We talked about it a little bit on the Shakedown last night, and I thought it was really interesting to get into it. What if you were able to trade back, still keep your first two first-round picks this year, and have another first-round pick? Remember how the Eagles have traded back the past couple of years and getting an extra first-round pick, which is pretty cool? I like getting extra picks. It's great. It's nice to have it for next year, something to look forward to, depending on how your season goes. The Eagles have 10 and 30 right now. Now, there is a mock trade up right now that would be really interesting, and that is with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Buccaneers have the 19th overall pick. The Eagles would actually trade back, since the Eagles don't have any 4th, 5th, 6th round picks this year. You have 2 first, a 2nd, a 3rd, and a 7th. And I think that's it, or 2 7ths. 2 or 1? It's 1 7th round pick at 219. So you would trade back 219, give them 10, and then Tampa Bay would give you an extra first-round pick for 2024. Is Tampa going to be good? Definitely not. New quarterback, team is rebuilding, team is trying to look like they're not rebuilding, but they definitely are at this point. Tampa Bay is probably not going to look good next year. This would be a good trade. Obviously, when you see a team aggressively move up, and this is probably a team that wants Will Levis or something like that, because I feel like Will Levis will be there at that moment, and there's going to be a team that is going to be hungry for a quarterback that goes up to 10, aggressively wants to move up, trade with the Eagles, and the Eagles are going to make them pay. You know it. You know the Eagles are definitely going to make them pay. So you charge them a first-round pick for 24, and Tampa Bay would probably be one of the most perfect teams to do it with. You know what I mean? So I don't see what the big deal about this is. I think this would be a really good trade. Not only do you move back to 19, who cares? It's a little steep, so it might seem a little steep. I get it. If I was to trade back, it would be like maybe the most I would be go back is 16, 17. But to go to 19, you still have your 30th overall, and you have an extra first-round pick for 24, 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, and you have 4 compensatory picks. Damn it. On top of paying Jalen Hurts next year and moving some money around, you're gonna have some artillery in the pack. you're going to have some artillery to make some moves next year with all that draft capital. You can actually make some trades for players if you want on good cap numbers. They can go into the draft and do whatever they want next year, because obviously this year they have to hit on this year's draft, and next year's more important because you're paying a quarterback, and obviously they'll move money around. They probably won't move that Jalen Hurts contract around his rookie year, or his first year on his new contract, but probably in the 25 season, they'll probably move the money around. That's when they'll start to move and create a lot of cap space, which would be pretty awesome. So I actually really like this. I understand it might take us out. It might not even take us out. It could take us out from Bijan. Maybe they could move back up, or you never know what could happen. You never know. You could lose out on Bijan. You might lose out. You're going to lose out on Will Anderson, Jalen Carter. You might lose out on Nolan Smith. Maybe. Probably not. We'll see. But I think you got to keep your head up here that, you know what? Like, offensively, we're still intact. Our defense needs a defensive tackle. They definitely need a counter piece. They've been interested in defensive ends like crazy, and there's plenty of them out there. I think there'll be one available definitely at 19, a good one that they want. When it's I think Autabare from Northwestern, which I think they have a lot of interest in. I think they really like that guy a lot. So trading back, still keeping your 2 first-round picks this year, so you'll have 19 and you'll have 30, and then having an extra first-round pick for a team that we're going to need to lose every single game this next year, so this season. And I think Tampa's not going to be great. Can they be the worst team? I don't know. I could probably argue maybe they could be probably the bottom 5 to 4 teams in the league that could really help us in getting that first-round pick could be very big next year, because obviously ours, I know it's going to be very high this season in 23, but that other pick, if they can get this done, if it's a straight-up pick for pick, boom, done, no extra nothing, I might be okay with this, because at the end of the day, you're still going to get better at 19 and 30 and have a first-round pick for 24 plus 4 compensatory picks. That would be amazing. That would be such a Howie move. When I saw this, I was like, man, this is really intriguing. And you never know what can happen. Eagles have been very quiet as of right now. So we'll find out more on this, but let me know if you guys agree with this trade or do not. I understand the 10th pick is, if I'm just trading back from 10 on our own and just saying, whatever, I have an issue with it, depending on what we're doing. But if it's for a first-round pick next year and you're still able to keep those 2 first-round picks this year, why not? I mean, why the hell not? That's just mastery work. So I would definitely not be against this. I couldn't turn my head against this, because I feel like there will be a quarterback available at 10, and there's going to be a team that's going to want to move up to 10 and be like, we need to trade. Like, let's get something done. And the Eagles are going to charge a Kings Hill ransom to take that spot. And that Kings Hill ransom is a first-round pick for 24 while keeping a first-round pick this year. Just switching first-round picks and keeping the other first-round pick that they have. So I think this would be the coolest, most exciting thing that could actually happen. So other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about Budda Baker, the contract and all that stuff, the Jalen Carter stuff, for him going to the draft. What does it mean? Is it promised he's getting drafted in the top 10? Where do the Eagles need to move up to draft him? And the third thing is, obviously, this mock trade has got me really excited. I love it. So we'll talk about it more. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys on the next one. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video as well, and appreciate all the support from all of you. And I'll see you guys in the next one. SHAKESQUAD, follow us. Peace out, guys. Peace.